Well, good morning guys, welcome back to Luke's Fishing Mission. Thank you for tuning in. You may be wondering why I'm standing in the middle of the creek. It's very shallow and I'm about to run my pots. I love to push up when the tide just turns. It gives me just enough water to get up there before anyone else does. Well, that's the plan anyway. Mate, it's raining again too. Can't seem to get away from the rain. However, I shouldn't complain. The last 5 days we've just spent up at Cape Gloucester on a holiday. It didn't rain one bit. But come back to Mackay and it's raining again. But I'm crabbing. Got my Ultimate Pro crab pots here, the 800mm Aussie Gold versions. They're all baited up. There's a couple of stripies in there. There's a couple of tuskies and there's a sweet lip or two, things like that. So there's about 3 little frames in each pot. So gonna go set the pots and then tomorrow I'll go and check them. I'll leave them in for 24 hours. It is a really big tide. We have had lots of rain. It's building to the full moon. Good time for crabbing, big tides when there's plenty of fresh in the water. As we know, we've had that rain, so hopefully there should be a few crabs around. The guys up at Cape Gloucester at Monty's, they're staying next to me in the cabin. They got me all G'd up to go get a few crabs, a feed of crabs, because they were down from Townsville and they got like 30 in a couple of days. So that got me chomping at the bit to go. I'm happy with 3 or 4. So let's go put them in. Hopefully we get a few crabs. Oh, what are you up to, Luke? I'm just waiting for a mate. Waiting for the bloody tide to come up a bit more. Woo, it's all part of the mission. Luke's Fishing Mission after all. And yes, there are crocodiles in this creek. I'm pretty well ankle deep at the moment. Wouldn't try doing this at home. Yes, there are deeper holes either side of me. They could come up. Yeah, I know I'm gonna get that in the comments. Woo. It could be anywhere really. And it's not real smart what I'm doing. So, don't recommend doing this at home. Okay, I'm finally at my first spot where I want to put my first pot. It took me 3 sandbars of negotiating on foot. You only saw one of them. I think the creek's changed a little bit. I think it's silted up quite a bit more since the last time I was here, unfortunately. All right. Let's go put one here on this tree, tied up to this tree. Okay, don't like to scratch my boat too much, so I always like to come in not hot, come in gently. Don't want to bang the electric either. All right, let's tie this guy up. Always like to tie it around a mangrove tree. Tides are too big up here just to leave a float in the water. Nice, inconspicuous little drain in there, you see that? I like this spot. I've caught a lot of crabs out of this spot before. All right, first one down. These 800mm pots are smaller than usual, but they're a lot thicker diameter. They're a lot thicker diameter frame and a lot thicker mesh. They're awesome quality pots, these Ultimate Pro crab pots. The Aussie Gold version, the 800mm, is what these guys are. One's in. There's a lot of pots in this creek too. Hopefully they're all sort of downstream from where I am at the moment. They seem to be thinned out a bit now. There was quite a few pots coming into this point. But yeah, there's blueies in there, there's stripies in there, a couple of sweet lip. That is my crab bait. I've got 3 little frames in each pot. There's actually a couple of whiting in there too, and whiting is absolutely awesome crab bait, believe it or not. The water is still quite discoloured after the rain. That's actually a good thing for crabbing. Stirs the crabs up, they move, they don't like the fresh. So they'll be on the march trying to find that salt water. When they're on the march and on the move, they're expelling more energy and they're hungrier, so they feed more. Always a good time for crabbing after rain. And April, May, June, July, we're now in the middle of April. It's my favourite time of year to go crabbing. Always come, I've mentioned this in previous videos, but always come upstream against the flow as you're coming in so you can control your speed. Pot number 3. I've been lucky so far. The 3 pots I've put in so far have been in 3 of my favourite places to put them. Now, big tides, got to be mindful not to cast it too far out in the main flow, otherwise they might get picked up. So cast it a little bit closer to the bank. All right, somewhere here will do. It's really deep there. That's at least 3 meters there. Cool. Just one more pot to go. This guy here. Let's get him in. Another inconspicuous little gully there. They're the spots I like rather than the more obvious ones, because more obvious ones are going to have pots in there by every Tom, Dick and Harry. But the little ones, a little bit more subtle, usually I find to be much better. There's usually a crab pot in there every time I come. So like I said, the more obvious spots, always copper hammering. That's a really good obvious spot. That's a little creek coming out to the main confluence of the main estuary here, the main river. There's none there today, which is weird. There's a lot of pots in this creek. At the moment, you'd think there'd be one there for sure, unless one's just been taken out, but that's a spot I like to try and avoid. Even though it looks good, every Tom, Dick and Harry crab it. So I like to find those more inconspicuous, subtle drains. And I find they do really well. They're more hidden, and those crabs are often there as a result of not being hammered as much. Okay guys, coming into the first pot. It's been 24 hours, rain overnight, big tide overnight. Left them in yesterday, about 8 o'clock. It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock the next day. Good to see the pot's still there. What I mean by that is a lot of share farmers these days steal pots, raid crab pots, but even worse when they steal them, and these are good pots, so I've been fortunate. Unfortunately, that's the way it is these days. Drop this guy in. Keep us in position so the tide doesn't push us into the next tree. Spot lock there. Come on, let's have some crabs in here. Oh, there's a definite one buck in there, definite one keeper, a ginny and something else. I think 2 ginnies and 1 legal buck. This is our legal buck here. Yeah, I'm sure he'll go legal. He's not a bad crab. There's a cod in there. I'll ditch this bait. You can go out and feed the rest. Yeah, big ginny. 2 ginnies. All right, that's good. There's 1 keeper there. Can just usually tell by looking at him it's this guy here. Yeah, he'll go, but I'll put a measure on him just in case, to be sure. Wee. All right. Well, they've got that poor cod by the jugular. Get you back in, sweetie. That's a Jenny, you can tell by the oval shape flap on the bottom instead of a point. Jenny, she's full though, she's a good crab. She's that dark rusty colour. Let this girl go as well. You can go too. These retractable legs of these Ultimate Pro crab pots make it so quick. Look at this, bust it and they flap back. So quick to dismantle your pots. Look at that. I've just chucked the rope and the float inside. There we go. Done. Come here, mate. Come here, mate. Okay, let's measure him. Yeah, he's legal. Legal by about 4 or 5 mils. That's good. One crab. A couple of lollipops for Ruby there. And half a sandwich. See if we can get a couple more. Yep, it's raining again, you'd believe it. Apologies if there's water on the lens. I've got no idea how this footage is going to turn out with this rain. Frustrating, man. All right, coming into our second pot. Wish me luck for another crab or two. Just untie him first. Don't want to bang on that. Don't want to bang on that. Let's get the spot locked down. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, yes. Looks like a couple of bucks in here. Ooh, there's definitely $3 in here. That's why it was heavy. Oh, they look like keepers too. Well, there's a couple of keepers in here for sure. And they look like big, dark, rusty crabs. Look at these. Oh yeah, we're eating tonight, Ruby. Eating lollipops. Sport little crapper you are. All right, this will be interesting. Okay, I'll turf this bait first and foremost. Then I'll sort these crabs out. There's 2, maybe 3 legal crabs in there. Geez, maybe 4. Some good crabs. That was me big 42 centimeter stripey. Converted into some muddies now. Not too bad. Not a bad conversion. All right. Let's check this one first. Those usual white nippers, or the white tips on the nippers, usually resemble a pretty good crab. What I've found, pretty full crab. Oh. I don't think we're going to have any problem with this crab being legal, but measure him. Yeah, look at that. Usually when it's got the little cross there and a bit of tinge to it, it's a full crab. And he's just legal too. Once again, by about 5 mil. This is the pick of the crabs so far. Look how rusty he is. Rusty. Unfortunately just the one nipper, but it's chocolate brown, it's full. That's a big crab. And very full crab. Look at that. He's about 16.5 centimeters. Well, there's 3. I'm usually really happy when I get 3 crabs. There's 3 right now. They're cranky. Oh, there's going to be 4 in a minute. This guy's legal for sure. There's a female. Look at that one there too. This is a female. Once again, you can tell by the round underside, but you can usually tell by the broadness of the shells and the real small nippers in comparison to the bucks, which is like this guy. This guy's more staunch. This is another nice crab. Where's the measure? Never a doubt. Never a doubt. And full too. Look at that. Rusty. Beautiful, beautiful crabs. There's 4. We got a good feed now. There might even be one more yet. This guy here, I think he's legal too. Come on, mate. Yeah, there's another big crab, or legal crab. Any legal crab is a good crab. Well, not always. They could be floaters, I suppose. This guy. You little beauty. Yep. You can see by the underside he's more white. He's not as dark as the other ones. He's not as full. But it's still legal, and I haven't had a feed of crabs in ages. There was 4 legal bucks in that one crab pot. How good. And just get the rope and the float. Having a good morning. I'm glad I left them in. It's worth doing this. Like I said in my last video, I just stayed at Cape Gloucester at Monty's, and the guys from Townsville were down there. There was a couple of guys from Townsville in the room next to me, and they went into the Gregory, cleaned up on crabs. I got like 30 in a couple of days. So they got me really G'd up to go try for a few, and we all know big tides, and especially after rain, they're firing. Well, we got both of them right now. Just turn this off, we'll go get the next one. Spot locking's so handy when you're processing crabs, so you don't drift into the mangroves with the tide. We've got 5 legal crabs so far, and only checked 2 pots. Still got 2 to go. Gonna have a bunch of crabs here. 5 is a bloody good feed. I usually like 3. So anything more than 3 is an absolute bonus. Have a couple of feeds. This is pot number 3. I was hoping we can get this pot back. It's under that tree. Oh no, it's out now. Spot lock, just jog me over to the right a little bit, please. There's a couple of crabs there. One might go. Get rid of that bait. Oh, he's rusty. Look how rusty he is. Wow. Very rusty. It's a big full crab. Well, not so big, but definitely a full crab. When they're rusty like that, that chocolate brown, that's what you want to see. Have a look in here. Not a bad looking esky. 5 legal crabs so far. Awesome. Look at that full one. Another full one there. Another full one. These are my Ultimate Pro crab pots from Jay. 800mm Aussie Gold version. Really thick mesh, thick rings, top and bottom. I think they're 10mm top, 12mm bottom. Little crab release for the small ones to get out. Sustainable. They're working a treat at the moment. Let's get these guys out, have a look. Ooh. This one can go, just under size. All right, chew back. And this one's a rusty one. Definitely very rusty, but look how rusty he is underneath. Such a full crab, chocolate brown rusty buck. You know when they got this star here? They're busting at the chest plate. Full. Put him on the measure anyway. And look how quick these are to disassemble. Just pull them out. That retractable leg will do it all. Beautiful. Look at that. Ultimate Pro crab pots. They're not the cheapest pots out there, but they are absolute quality. Nothing quality is ever cheap. They're bloody good pots, providing you don't get them stolen. I've been very fortunate in my crabbing in these last few years. Ditch that spot lock. We'll go collect our last pot. As you can see, I do like a clean boat. I've got hardly any debris on the floor as it is, but I always like to use a tarp just to keep the mud out of the carpet as best you can and all the crap. I don't know about you, but I always get a sigh of relief when I can see my last pot, knowing I'm going to get them all back. For a second, I didn't see the float. It was freaking me out. But all 4 pots accounted for. Okay, that was an ordeal. All right, I'm not sure. They look a little bit on the smaller side, but you know what? That's completely fine. I've got 5 keepers. Well, he might be legal actually. Let's see. I always like to take a little bit of a stick like this, piece of wood, so I can pin down the front, so I can get at the back, lift them up easily. That's a Jenny for sure. You know what? He's legal. I've got 6 crabs. Yeah, righto, feisty. You're too small. Well under. You can go back. And you, come on. Ooh, cranky woman. Cranky woman you are. Huh? Come here. Woo! Okay, yep. You got me. Oh. She can go back. Okay. How's that? There's a good feed right there, baby. 6 crabs. And at least 3 of them are really rusty. I'm very, very happy with that. Gonna have 2 feeds of crab, big feeds of crab. I love to get 3 crabs for a big feed for me and Ruby. Got 6, I'm gonna have 2 massive feeds there. So stoked. Big tides, big rain, April, May, June, July. That just equals crabs. Get amongst it, guys. I'm gonna go home, spend the next 3 hours cooking crabs and cleaning the boat. Okay guys, what I've done here is I've dispatched these crabs and I've cleaned 2 of them. I always put them in the freezer and then chuck them in the pot, and I've always boiled them with the guts and gills in. Now, my neighbour Dave just told me, no, take it out, and I know for sure that obviously it does make sense to do that. The crabs are going to be not boiling and stewing in their own juices. They're going to be a lot cleaner, and hopefully the meat's going to be a lot sweeter. So I'm going to trial this for the very first time. Basically dispatch the crabs. I'm peeling them green, taking the back shell off. As you can see here, I've halved them, got the gills and the guts out, and then I'm going to chuck them on the boil in the salt water for about 12 or 13 minutes instead of about the 17 minutes that I usually would when they were whole. So I'm going to try this, and I'm hoping it's going to be a lot sweeter. It does make a lot more sense not boiling them in their own juices and stewing in their own juices. That flavour of that yucky stuff would boil through the meat, you'd have to think. Okay guys, so essentially I'm just going to rip the shell off like that, pretty hard. Gills out on both sides, and then just crack him like this. Go like this, and most of the crap just falls away. And I am going to do the unthinkable and rinse it with a bit of fresh water, but I am going to cook that in the salt, so it shouldn't make a difference. It's going to be boiled in the salt water very shortly. Same again, flick it, all that crap ends up on the lawn. You're left with relatively clean half a crab. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay guys, I've just dispatched these crabs. I have never cooked crabs in half before. I've always cooked them whole. So I put them in the freezer, cooked them whole, cooked them for 17 minutes. But obviously they do stew in their own juices when they do that. And I heard it is a lot more sweeter than meat if you gut them and gill them first. So I've basically gutted and gilled them, halved them, and I'm going to put them in here now in this boiling water, in the salt water here. Make sure it's with salt, obviously. I'm cooking them in the salt water from the creek. And I'm going to put them in here for 13 minutes, I've been told. It obviously does make sense to do it this way. I mean, crab is pretty good most ways, but I've always cooked them whole. And obviously it's not ideal because they're stewing in their guts and gills. This should be a lot more cleaner. The meat should be a lot more sweeter, and I'm really keen to give it a crack. It's literally the first time I've ever cooked them this way. So I'm going to put them in now in the pot. Got a 3-ring burner here hooked up to the gas bottle outside where I cook my crabs. 13 minutes. Let's see how they go. Good thing about this is also, there was no way I was going to be able to cook 6 crabs in the one pot. Now, I would have had to, you know, previous to this, I would have had to go back to the creek, get more water, cook them 20 minutes, you know, 17 minutes, 2 times, 3 crabs in each so they'd fit in here. Now there's 6 crabs worth in here, all cut in half. So they're all fit in there, perfect. Okay guys, they're back on the reboil now after I put them in. 13 minutes from now, it's ticking down. Beautiful. I feel like they're going to be really, really nice. Important to mark 13 minutes from once it starts reboiling. Obviously when it's boiling, then you put all your crabs in, goes off the boil, then it comes back to the boil again. 13 minutes from that point. Okay guys, the 13 minutes is up according to the stopwatch right there. So I'm going to get these crabs out, and then to stop them cooking in their own juices, putting them into the freezer real quick, maybe 15 minutes or so. There's a lot of crab here. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, now into the freezer real quick. Woo! Okay guys, this is what it's all about. The fruits of our labour. Spent the weekend crabbing, got 6 beautiful crabs. Me and Ruby are having 3 tonight and 3 tomorrow, but look at these nippers. These were super chock-a-block full. The meat was basically sticking to the shell. Yes, we've had a little bit of a feed already, as you can see. And note to self, yes, they do taste a lot better when they're cooked without the guts in. But yeah, cheers Ruby, time for our lollipops. Enjoy. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.